So, hello and welcome back to my C++ tutorial playlist. This video I want to dedicate to a small introduction to templates. It will be very brief, but I think it's an important subject to cover. So, what you might already be familiar with is a function that is generic like this and can take in any type as an argument and do something with that argument. So for example, and we can pass in anything that we want here. As we can see, the result would be an int. We could also, as you can see, we can use this function with any type we want. And this way of writing it is a little bit cumbersome for me, and I find it hard to read. So what also works is a syntax like this with auto. And this basically does the same thing, but I find it much more readable. So the type here gets automatically deduced, and also the return type of the function gets automatically deduced. So we can just call also fun the same way as we could with our regular template function. So that is one trick I wanted to show you. And also what is worth noting is that template functions always need to be defined in the same translation unit as when you're using it. Basically, they are just a shortcut for writing a function with the actual type when you're calling it. So basically, when you're calling a template function with 5, the compiler generates a function with that specific type for us, and we don't have to write it. But if we would in another place call also the same function again with a different type, then the compiler would generate a different function. So it needs to be in the same translation unit so the compiler knows which versions of the function it needs. But enough for that. Let's take us to a different concept, which is concept. And with concepts, we can restrict the type we can specify here. For example, we can define a concept called incrementable. And with the requires keyword, we can place a requirement on that type. And here we can specify that this needs to be valid code, and also this needs to be valid code, like so. And this ensures that our type t has the operator ++ and the prefix ++ and the postfix ++. So that allows us to use it in a function. We can call that increment, like so. And we can use that to increment anything that has this operator, for example, an integer or anything. And for demonstration purposes, we can also output the result. And it should now be 6. So of course we need to include our print. And now we can compile it again. And as we can see, the result is now 6. And yeah, that's already it for this video. I hope this has been helpful again. And I hope we can soon dive into more practical projects once we have covered all the basics. But I thought this would be very interesting to know. So thank you for watching again, and see you next time.